Okay, so when I play it back, they add background noise, so adjust the volume. Remember, they're changing my voice. This video is about the fact that the intelligence that is needed to have humanity is absent in basically all other people except my parents. Okay, there's something you said about my brothers, and that's about it. Okay, let's get to the bottom of this now. One, it takes a certain bare minimum intelligence to have humanity. If people are not smart enough to have humanity, which means living in reality and being good and more, then they are not smart enough to truly be human. They are like a vampire or a demon or something that refuses, to understand that a life without true morally precise honor in reality is not worth living. Right? Some kind of walking beast that doesn't understand that life without true morally precise honor is not worth living. Okay, and living it in reality. Okay. Two, this means that by default they are pursuing sin and evil and forcing the world to deal with the consequences. So we see, when people, part of the reason why rape is wrong, for example, is being forced on that person. Immoral governments forcing things with authoritarian kind of philosophies. Okay, they're forcing people to deal with the consequences. Rape is something that is usually mostly psychological, right? The consequences are mental. You see what I'm saying? So, again, when people are living a life of sin, right, they're forcing the world to deal with the consequences. Again, I want you to really think about this. This means that by default, they are pursuing sin and evil and forcing the world to deal with the consequences. Okay? And people get locked up for the criminal behavior they have. When you really think about it, everybody but my parents and I are pursuing sin and evil, which on a deeper level, in reality, is criminal. It's crimes against humanity and God. All right. Point number three, even if the rest of the world is evil, a person should be good. Point number four, the rebellion against the moral order is the point where they lose their humanity. That's the exact point. They rebel against my lead. It's wrong to cheat the most righteous person in the world out of his right to lead. How do you think tribes formed? And what tribe should you be a part of? Gargamel, Lex Luthor, so to speak, George Bush? Okay? You should obey God through me. All right. Ask yourselves, why would they cheat the most righteous person ever out of his right to lead? How inhuman is that? This means that they are like the walking dead as they become dead inside. They also become dead inside if they wire their brains to be giddy or in some stupid psychological state that avoids the basic brain function that would allow them to feel guilt. So if they're like, hey, I'm a proper, Frenchman, and I don't have to think about this, right? Or I'm a corporate person, I'm successful, or I'm a rap star, or whatever, right? They're trying not to think about the guilt that they have that is a sign from nature and God to change their lifestyle and to stop doing people wrong, especially me. Point number three, humanity has no choice but to realize that they cannot be human without me, or they will face extreme consequences, and so will their offspring in the afterlife, as nature is wired in a way that science cannot stop to punish them for their extreme arrogance and selfishness. Obviously, it's not a threat, okay? Truly, if they had even a fraction of the sense I have, they would not reproduce. Okay, so why add to your sins by reproducing? Look who's in charge of your races and cultures and nations, right? And why continue down this path when they systematically screen out the righteous? You hear the good die young, good guys finish last, they throw good guys under the bus, so on and so forth. All right. Point six, an attractive female who has bad dating judgment is like an archer who wounds at random. How much more if she communicates it with her dress and behavior? Again, I tell you, an attractive female who has bad dating judgment is like an archer who wounds at random. How much more if she communicates it with her dress and behavior? A lot of you will protest against that. Well, Proverbs 26:10. Like an archer who wounds at random is one who hires a fool or any passerby. Said again, like an attractive female who rebels against the rule of the last valid righteous top martial artist is an archer who wounds at random. Like an attractive female who rebels against the rule of the last valid righteous top martial artist ever is, top martial artist, so the last valid top martial artist ever, is an archer who wounds at random. Okay? So basically she's harming people randomly. She's like, hey, I'm a dumb bitch, and I was dumb enough to cheat Chukwuemeka out of his right to lead and to advise me and to order me on behalf of God. Okay, so, my judgment is dumb, and I'm just going to hurt you. If I have a kid, I'll hurt the kids. I'll hurt my parents. I'll hurt everybody because I'm a dumb bitch, right? She's wounding at random. She doesn't have a plan because she's an unfocused, Tasmanian devil type of bitch. Babs Bunny, Goofy, and what have you. 7. While they were all slack in their work, they fumed me and made it harder for me to communicate. All this while homosexuals who rape kids and their allies said, oh well, that means they should listen to us. All this while homosexuals that rape kids and their allies said, oh well, that means they should listen to us because we sabotage him and he's not making sense. Think about it. Yes, they owe me their allegiance that much more, and they will be that much more pathetic as their offspring will be if they do not give it to me. And if they get rid of me and find someone to get some plastic surgery and play a game, and I don't put it past them for a moment to pretend that they're me, okay, it just makes it worse. Point number 8. For those of you who are not very smart, I will put it this way. Listen very carefully. I have a story to tell. There was once the top martial artist ever who was passing by when he saw an attractive conformist groupie who cited other groupies who were more obviously groupies to pretend she was not a groupie. She said, hey, they're groupies, not me. But she was a groupie. He said to her, leave your stupid, pathetic existence and walk with morally precise honor, moral insight, moral wisdom, moral righteousness, and moral justice with me, which is the only way possible. She said, you are right, and I'm not that stupid to not know that you are right. However, I will keep living my life and play into the government's hands, which means that I am complicit with mass starvation, mass murder, mass rape, mass drugging, mass theft, mass assault, mass deception, idolatry, and more. I know the guys I sleep with are cowards that little girls are more manly than, as they do not obey God through you. But I will just say some stupid bullshit like, I have to think about my bootlicking family that is just trying to survive in an evil spirit. She then made a partly sad face and a partly sarcastic face. He waited until her life ran its course and threw her into the lake of fire with her offspring. He did this because she was a dumb, groupie bitch whose genes are so pathetic that there is no way that that bad tree could bear good fruit. He was the last redeemer, and it was time to pay every penny she owed, as the saying goes, which is eternal punishment. As with your one life to lead, from your perspective at least, you've cheated me forever out of what you perceive to be my one opportunity as the top martial artist ever to lead you. So you owe me eternity. Pretty straightforward, right?